Jay Belissimo, by pronouncing that correctly. Yeah, thank you for meeting with me. I've always started this off trying to keep it sort of light-hearted. So would you be able to just share what your favourite food, your favourite hobby, and your favourite movie would be?
Okay, well, you must start with the favorite food, being an Italian. So mine is veal parmesan.
Wow. Okay.
My favorite movie is Cinema Paradiso.
Yep.
And what was your last?
Your favourite hobby?
My favorite hobby is ice hockey.
Oh wow! Did you you played?
I did. I played in college.
Oh wow!
And I enjoyed it. I wanted to be a professional ice hockey player, but that never panned out. So
I
am at IBM.
And do you still get out there? Or?
I do.
Yeah.
I did until recently, but it's a great sport. So
I
know in Australia you have a lot of good sports. I don't know if I could ever play Australian rugby.
No, it's Australia.
I like watching
Aussie football. Yeah. No, it's rough. I want to go back to, I suppose, what you started at university with. Would you be able to let us know what you studied and where you went?
Sure. So I was a political science major, and I had a minor in economics.
Yeah.
And when I first left school, I worked on Capitol Hill for Congressman Joseph Kennedy. He was Bobby Kennedy's oldest son. Bobby was the Attorney General back in the late 60s who was assassinated, and he was JFK's brother.
Wow.
So I worked for Joe. I did legislative writing for 3 years after college, and then I moved over to management consulting, and I've been doing it for the last 30 years.
Yeah, so your first role with PwC is?
I was a programmer, and it was interesting because I never took programming in school.
In school, yeah.
And I just loved it. I became a sponge, and I
what
couldn't
language?
learn enough. COBOL.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I actually worked for Anderson Consulting, which is now Accenture.
Oh, wow.
So I thought COBOL was a color, but I found out it was a computing language.
I think it's still a color.
Yeah, it is.
And so was it after that you then moved on to PwC?
Well, so what was a great thing is, in all seriousness, I wanted to work on Capitol Hill, and after 3 years, I decided I wanted to do something different. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just ended up at Anderson Consulting, and I just fell in love with the technology, even though I didn't have the background. So fast forward it, I moved over to Price Waterhouse about 2 years later, and then I became a partner at Price Waterhouse when I was 31. And then during that time, for the 7 years, I was really just loved the technology. So I spent a lot of time. I taught myself everything. That's a big lesson I would share with you that I'm sure you've heard from others, is the need to reinvent yourself. It's no different 30 years later. I'm spending 5-6 hours a week just on the weekends or during late at night learning about new cloud technologies and other things. You can never learn enough. And if you don't learn and continue to push yourself and reinvent yourself, you're going to fall behind, and you won't be as needed, and you won't have the opportunity for advancement. So going back almost 30 years ago, started out programming, didn't know anything about it, loved it, did it for 7-8 years, made partner at PricewaterhouseCoopers, and then I moved over to the business side. I was kind of bored on the IT side, not bored, more than I need to expand and exercise new muscles. So I moved over to a new area I didn't know on the business process side, procurement and supply chain. I did that very well, and then for several years, since I've been at IBM in 2002, I'm now in my 8th role in 16 years.
Wow.
So a lot of moving around, and I guess my big lesson, one lesson would be just go with the flow and always learn and never stop learning. Because when you do, you just are going to stop.
And it's such a fast evolving field as well.
It really is. You'll become outdated.
Yeah.
And you never want that. Team when we started the Watson Group. I was probably employee number 4.
Okay.
And I was the general manager. The logic was Ginny, our CEO, took one leader from each of our brands. So I was selected from GBS and became the general manager. I brought over about 150 GBSers, and that's how we started the Watson Group. 2014, spent a lot of time in Australia. Australia was one of the first adopters of AI in Watson, very progressive. We talked about Perth and Woodside. With Peter Coleman, the CEO, and his team, and it was really awesome. But I spent 4 years as a general manager in Watson, and in January 2018, I returned to GBS.
Yeah. Is there, I suppose, something about GBS that you particularly enjoy?
Well, I had the benefit of almost 30 years, minus the 4 years in Watson, and just seeing everything in consulting over that time. And I think right now in 2019, what's really exciting is what Mark Foster has built around this cognitive enterprise. As many of you know, Mark spent his career at Accenture, retired 5 years, came back. And what he's done in the 2.5 years he's been here is just amazing, and it's contagious, right? We always say winning is contagious, and leadership like Mark's is contagious, and he's really turned the business around. And so I'm just very excited when I look at what clients want and what we built in GBS, leveraging the rest of IBM. And in the end, it's all about winning, and I think we're well positioned as we've ever been since I've been at IBM.
So we're in good hands with Mark
We're
Foster.
in good hands with Mark Foster, and Ginny has spent 45 minutes with her last night with a client. And she's just, you want to talk about genuine, authentic leaders, Ginny's it. And that's why this company has persevered as much as we have over the last several years.
Is there, what do you find most rewarding about what you do?
It's delivering against commitments. And whether it be personal life, once you make a commitment, you have to honor it and do to the best of your ability, achieve it. And I think in this business, especially in the GBS part of our business, everything is about relationship selling, and delivery comes with selling. I always say delivery is the best selling tool, but clients are buying you as a representative of IBM, and if you let them down, you let yourself down. So the biggest thing for me is always make sure, whether it be me or my teams, we always want to deliver against commitments, and quite frankly, we always want to try to exceed what those commitments are, and that's what gets me going every week, is making sure that no one else in the market can do what we do, but more importantly, we can deliver what we commit to our clients.
When the day comes that you'll have to, I suppose, look back on the career you've had, is there one particular thing or accomplishment, something that you've done, you'll be able to look back on and be most proud of?
Well, I think I'll give you two flavors of that. I think what makes me most proud in all the years and the different roles I've been in, and I've lived in Brazil, I've been around a lot, but it's just the sense of teamwork. I grew up playing sport my whole life, and teamwork is everything. And I don't remember a deal in 30 years I ever did by myself, not that I couldn't have, but you always want to have a team and make sure that you really work together to solve the most complex business problems. And so that's been very gratifying, is the teamwork aspect. In terms of a legacy, I think my 4 years in Watson, and it didn't stop there, it's still continuing. But I think this time of AI and Watson will go down the history books, and have been part of those early days of Watson, and just huge. Seeing it manifest itself to where we are today in 2019.
Must be so rewarding.
It will be rewarding, and certainly the most memorable part of my career.
There's obviously a lot of exciting things going on here, I think, that we've been hearing about, AI, quantum, blockchain. Is there a particular field that excites you the most?
Well, I think the field would be AI. I think for all the reasons we know, it's exciting. But I would take it up a level, and I would say for every IBMer, 375,000 of us, every IBMer, whether you have to take a test or not, doesn't matter. You need to learn cloud and cognitive. You cannot be successful. You have to be able to tell the narrative. So AI is from an interest point of view, the coolest for me personally. But I would encourage and ask each IBMer to make sure they know cloud and cognitive and have that story, because it's all about solving business problems. But some people are not equipped to have that full conversation. They only talk about their area. And I just did a video earlier today that will go out to GBS, and I'm asking everyone in GBS to be able to tell not just the cognitive enterprise, but be able to tell, as part of that cognitive enterprise, the cloud story. Because if you can tell cloud and cognitive and all these other things, data, AI, it's all wrapped into that, then we're going to have great success as a company.
I suppose, if you could imagine yourself, a younger version of yourself when you first started out your career, is there something that if you could go back with the knowledge and the experience that you have now, what would you tell that younger version of yourself that's just starting out their career?
Well, that's a great question. Honestly, I wouldn't do anything differently.
That's a good place to be.
Take the easy way
That's a
out.
good place to be.
No, I say that because life's about experiences. The one thing that has served me well is just confidence. And I say, even recently with some people, and it's no different for me. Sometimes you might have a tough session with certain people, but confidence is everything. When you have confidence in life, whether it be personal or professional, you can do anything. And will you make mistakes? Yes, especially in the last 10 years. We've tried so many different things. The old expression, if you fail, fail fast, but you have to learn and move on.
Is there a particular moment, say a particular pivotal moment in your career that's really helped to get you to where you are today?
Oh, I don't think it was one event per se. I think it's been just back to the point on learning. I've had an insatiable desire to learn as much as I can because my view, I've had some childhood setbacks where I lost some best friends to car accidents and other things. And I vowed when I experienced it at the age of 16 that I would live life to its fullest. So to that point, I'm always volunteering to do things, whether it be in work or the community. I have 2 children who are gay, and so I'm very involved in LGBT+. So my point is, it doesn't matter if it's societal, within your community, at work, but just you have a thirst for life, and you want to maximize every day and live every day to the fullest. Because I had that setback at 16, 5 years ago, lost my best friend again, and so it just really proved to me that in life, just enjoy what you do. And what my friend before he passed away used to say, love what you do and do what you love. And so that would probably be, it's not the single event, but that would probably be my philosophy and why I'm as driven as I am, and I won't stop for many years to come.